Hope you're doing great wherever you are in the world. This video is the definitive lefty-righty pickleball play video, because not only am I a senior professional pickleball player, I also happen to be a left-handed player. And that means I have a lot of experience playing in lefty-righty combinations. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 ways of thinking about playing lefty-righty that's going to help you out. And a little subpart here in AB under 2 to help you pick the right shot when you're in those lefty-righty combos to give your team the best chance to win. All right, let's dive into the video. We're going to start off with what could be a controversial subject, but really the question that you need to start with is, what is a left-right combination? Okay, and this is really, really important, because too often what happens is players get out on the pickleball court and one player is holding the pad on their left hand, the other player is holding their pad on their right hand, and so they go lefty-righty, we got to do something, right? Not so fast. First, you need to decide, are you really in a lefty-righty situation? And I give you a personal example, which is when I played in a couple of tournaments with my good friend Tom Rolsey. Really nice guy, great player, happens to also be left-handed just like I am. But he is a former high-level racquetball player. What that means is, even though his forehand is fine, he is really a backhanded player. So as a left-handed backhand player, he's not really a left-handed player strategically. He is a right-handed player. So if you want to look at it like this, so let's assume that this is me and Tom up here, okay? So I'm going to move this paddle over to this side now. So both of these players now are left-handed. This is me and this is Tom, my partner Tom. But the reality is that this isn't correct. I got to take Tom's paddle and put it over here. Even though he is physically left-handed, he is actually a right-handed player the way that we see the game in terms of his strongest side. So when you think about, are you playing in a left-right combination, the very first thing that you want to do is figure out, am I really in a left-right combination? Because you could be in a situation too where you have 2 right-handed players, but you look at your partner and you say, wait a minute, you're more of a backhand player. That makes your partner then a left-handed player. So you may be in left to right combinations even though the paddles are on the same hand, right? Both players. You may also be in a not left-right combination when you have a lefty and a righty playing together. So don't skip this one, because you're going to be making incorrect decisions if you skip this one or if you get it wrong. All right, the second one we're going to talk about is how to decide who takes the shot. This is the one that we always get asked questions about. Who takes the shot? That's always a common question we get asked, who gets which ball? And frankly, it happens to me, right? When I play with righty players, a lot of times, I'll hear them say to me, oh, I forgot you were left-handed, with your forehand and things like that. Sometimes that's relevant. Oftentimes that's not, though. Okay, and I'm going to give you 2 rules that you're going to be able to apply to decide who takes a shot. As we get into that, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, as you can already see at this early stage of this video, this is the kind of content we provide. It's helpful content, like questions like this you don't get on YouTube often. Subscribe to the channel, you get more of this kind of information. All right, let me give you the first rule that I want to give you is a rule called respect the X. That's a rule that we developed here at the Into Pickle YouTube channel, and it's a rule that will always help you know how to play, whether you're playing lefty, righty, righty, doesn't matter. The X is always on the court and is always going to help you know how to know who should take the shot, give you a rule that's going to be really good for you in terms of who takes the shot. It is way better than the axiom you hear all the time, forehand in the middle. I'm going to link to a video up here. Actually, I'm going to link to a playlist. I'm going to link to a playlist up here on Respect the X. It dives into the Respect the X principle. You can really understand why it works. There's some game study in there that shows you, like in game time, you see, oh, I see what happened there. There's actually one of the rallies we study is a rally where the dink was hit twice across the X. The first time it was respected, everything's fantastic. The second time, you get to see an error that occurred, and then you can make a judgment as to whether you think this Respect the X principle works. But I'm telling you, this thing works. So the first rule you want to apply is respect the X and let those balls travel along the X. Whether you're lefty, righty, or righty, respect the X is always going to be there. And then the next one is, what is the best shot for my team? Okay, so best for team. And this is really important, because what happens too often as pickleball players is the 2 players will come on the court, right? And basically, so we're going to focus on these players up here. So basically, if the ball comes over here, it's mine. If the ball goes over here, it's yours. That's a limiting way of playing, right? Because you're playing in these, we call them like these silos, right? So you're playing in a silo. And instead of being a team, you're really two individuals on the court. So it's one player playing half, this quarter of the whole court, right? Half this side. And this player is playing half of this side. Not as effective as when you're playing as a team, as a collaborative effort between two players working together. That's why the question is, what's the best shot for my team? Sometimes that might be the backhand of the weaker player versus the forehand of the stronger player. Here's a good example. So here we have let's make it lefty-righty. That's fine. Lefty-righty, okay? And so we have a situation where this player's back and this player's up, okay? So here they are both backhands, right? But let's say this is the stronger player and this is the weaker player, all right? This backhand is weaker than this one. If the ball is here, floating through here, right? It's going to be easier for this player to hit this shot than it is for this player to hit this shot, okay, strategically. So in that situation, it is probably more advantageous for this player to take the shot. The only reason it wouldn't be is if looking at it as a big picture, we still believe that this shot would be better for the team, not because it's mine, not because it's yours. So you start thinking differently about pickleball when you think about it with questions like this. And again, like forehand in the middle and things like that. Very limiting, going to restrict you as players, going to limit how much you can develop as players. Rules like respect the X and best for team are going to be much more productive. If there's a rule that you have a question about, so something you've heard on the courts, an axiom or something, and you're kind of sitting there going like, I wonder if that's right, let me know in the comments, because I'd love to make a video. We love making videos exposing axioms that players have that are either limiting or just plain wrong. And we don't do it to, to bash anybody doing like that. We do it because it limits players, like things like wait till the ball bounces before you can step into the kitchen. Those kind of things really mess players up in terms of their development in the game. And then the last point I want to point out to you here is if you're playing lefty-righty, but I'm going to say to you, whether you're playing lefty-righty or playing righty-righty, lefty-lefty, it doesn't matter. Stacking. Stacking is a tremendously powerful tool, tremendously powerful technique that you can add to your game as a pickleball player. Doesn't matter your level of play, you can apply stacking. You're starting with the serve side, then you learn the return side, then you learn the best ways to use it, when to use it, when not to use it, avoiding robo stacking, implementing it at the right times, counter stacking sometimes, so going backward. It's particularly, players think about stacking in terms of a left-right concept, and it is. I mean, left to righty, I stack all the time because it happens to be that, my forehand is my strongest side. A lot of times I'm playing with a right-handed player whose forehand is their strongest side. So we put those forehands in the middle, right, to have the most impact. And we do that through stacking. So if you want to really go next level with your game, right, particularly if you're playing competitively, you're playing in a ladder league, a local league of some sort, you're playing in some round robin, some money balls, or in tournaments, knowing stacking will make the difference. I can tell you many, many, many stories where knowing how to stack at the exact right time, including at the end of a game, could be the difference between winning and losing. One in particular was at the U.S. Open, where we reverse stacked with a partner of mine in order to take away what our opponents were trying to do, and it ended up with us winning the game 16-14 on a reverse stack for the first time at the end of the game, allowing us to, again, throw a monkey wrench into our opponent's plans, mix up our situation for them, and ends up with us getting that last point and winning that match at the U.S. Open. So that's a good example of stacking. If you want to go deep on stacking, if you really want to learn stacking, I'll put a link up here. We have an entire master lab on stacking. Stacking is my jam. I love stacking. I know stacking, and I can teach you how to stack as well as I do. So anyway, those are some rules you can apply for a lefty-righty play that'll help you get the most out of it. But remember, always start with this question: are you really in a lefty-righty combination? I'm going to put a video somewhere on here that'll help you continue with the learning. And until I see you in the next video, have a great time.